Alrighty, according to Google Hangouts, we are live. Thank you everyone for watching RPG Enlightenment Into the Spotlight. We are here with a special guest from the Absolute Tabletop community, Benj, who is one of the founders of Tabletop Blacksmith. And he has a Kickstarter that's out currently. So I'll just introduce my co-host, and then we'll drop it right into Benj. So, Jim, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jim. I'm the other half of RPG Enlightenment. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this. I've been following Benj on Twitter for a little bit, kind of checking out some of the stuff they've got. It's got some really cool things, and I can't wait to actually see them on camera.
Yeah, so Benj, if you want to introduce yourself, introduce your channel.
Sure, gladly. Hello, everybody. I'm Benjamin Blade. I am the Tabletop Blacksmith, and I have a YouTube channel where I provide DM and player tips, as well as a Kickstarter that was mentioned before. And we sell or are attempting to start up a business venture with me and my brothers from our experience that we have had playing RPGs, and through the expertise that we have combined with all of us together to create this wonderful terrain that we have. And it's our hope that we can get it to a point where we will be able to provide it to those who are not just in our personal circle of friends and family, but also to offer it to anybody who might be interested. So that is who I am. That is what we do.
So what are you guys currently at as far as the Kickstarter? Like what percentage?
Right now, we are at 56% funding, and we're about halfway through the Kickstarter right now. So we're just past halfway towards funding, and we are almost to our halfway point in the Kickstarter, where I think there's 16 days left. So Halloween will be our halfway point, where we might do something a little special to celebrate the season for those who are interested in backing us.
Interesting. I will have to figure out what that is at some point. Do you
I don't know.
Do you want to, do a RPG Enlightenment exclusive and let our viewers know what that special might be?
I absolutely would be willing to do that. Yes. So we have our terrain engineer is my older brother, Caleb, and he is an instructor, a professor at the University of California, Northridge, and he teaches 3D graphics, animation, and design. And so that is his area of expertise, but it was his idea, and I'm very happy to say so, because I feel like a lot of the design that we have had is I come up with the ideas, and then he puts my idea into form. So I feel like I'm forcing him to do a lot of work. So it's always good when he comes up with the idea, because then we all know that it's his idea to make such a thing. So he's creating a graveyard set of tombstones, gravestones, just headstones, something that we can have, so more maybe a sarcophagus, maybe a coffin or two, but we are going to be dropping that tomorrow, and anybody who backs us for over $69 tomorrow will be able to get that free as just part of being a part of backing the project. But also, anybody who is a current backer, if you adjust your... Oh, I have gremlins on the other side of the door. Sorry. That's my son, and he's crazy. But anybody who is currently a backer, if they adjust their price and increase their pledge by any amount, they are able to get that as an added bonus to their thing as well. So even if it's just $1, then you get a whole graveyard set to go along with your terrain. So it's going to be really exciting, and we hope that it helps. And we're happy to give back to the community, because there's been so much good feedback that has come as a result of us reaching out and putting ourselves out there on the interwebs. And we're happy to accommodate that, because a lot of the things that we have, it was just my thoughts and my brother's design. So when we have reached out and we've seen other people in forums like RPGNet and other terrain bloggers and terrain forums, they've given us some really good feedback. So we've been able to adjust our prototypes to better suit the needs of the market, so to speak. So what people are asking for, we're able to adjust so that when you pledge, you know that you're getting a product that you are helping to create as well. That's something that we're happy to do. Oh, sorry. I lost you. I think you're muted. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I was muted. It popped up the little bubble like, hey, if you're trying to talk to the group, please unmute. So what makes your terrain different from whatever else is out there?
Sure. Yeah. I would be happy just to. Well, so I'll explain first, and then I'll give a little demonstration. So I have played Dungeons and Dragons. I've played tabletop role-playing games for years, and as part of that, it's kind of gone through an evolution. Not only as I've been able to slightly get my hands on better materials, but also I think the world of tabletop role-playing has kind of evolved in the last 5 years, really, where a lot of people who are playing now, and it is becoming an ever-increasing amazing community that's out there, but a lot of the people who are playing no longer need to rely on their friend who is a professional sculptor or painter. Like in the beginning, when Dwarven Forge came out with their product, I think that really changed the game. It enabled so many creators to see what Stephen Picorni was doing and say, I can also do that. And since that moment, we've seen a lot of different terrain. So Dwarven Forge, obviously, they have their modular tabletop terrain that it connects, it goes well together, it looks beautiful. It's when I see Dwarven Forge, or even now Hearst Arts Molds, people are doing that as a nice little inexpensive way to make their own terrain if you have those talents. But what I've been seeing with those is, even though it looks beautiful on the table, it's less functional than what I need for the games that I run. So when I am playing and I have my whole table, they're all sitting there, I don't want anybody to have to feel like they have to get up and like reach far into the table, fearing that they might knock a wall over or knock something over. I like them to be able to see everything that's on the field and then still get a handle on what exactly is going on. So when we designed our walls, we made it so that it was with visibility in mind, so that you can see the walls there. And it's something more than just, dang it, what is it called? 2D something. It's where they have the, like, it's a flat terrain, but then they have the slightly raised walls. It's more than that, so that we can have the feeling that the dungeon is still there, and that it can be kind of free form and flowing. So we have the smaller walls so that you can see over them and you can see everything that's going on in the field. But then we also made our walls freestanding so that the dungeon can give itself form as it is unveiled. I have had a problem in the past with players who tend to metagame. So when I have the map entirely drawn out on the board, or if I have it all planned out and all of the things are in place, they're going to know, okay, this dungeon has so many corridors that I can go down. And they can see that, and it's hard to separate that from when you're trying to get in the moment and role play a character who is entering this dungeon for the first time, who doesn't know what's going to happen if you turn left or turn right. You don't know what you're going to see or encounter. And so a couple of those things came to life when I was talking to my brother, and we were designing the terrain together. So I like that when we are building the dungeon out, we can just in the moment, okay, I didn't know the players were going to go in this dwarven mine. I thought they were going to follow the quest, but that's okay. We'll go with them on this adventure that they're taking us on, and be able to put out the floor tiles and just build the walls up as we're going down the tunnel. And as a dungeon master, it has given me the ability not only to have a little bit more time while they roll initiative and start moving into the dungeon, but it also gives me the freedom to change things as I see fit. If I see that the dungeon is turning out to be a little bit less dramatic than what I was hoping for, I can always add more. Or if I want to reward my players and they're being exceptionally clever, or if I want to punish them because they're being exceptionally players, then I can change that on the fly. I can make a wall become something that, oh, they've triggered something and this entire wall is exposed now, and now there's another thing behind it, or a boulder is floating down the hallway. I can do all of that because I have the manipulate and change the terrain as I see fit. I think that's a really powerful thing for the dungeon master to have. And I'm not saying it in any way that I don't like any of the other products out there, because I love them and I use them. But it doesn't have that level of fluidity that I'm looking for, that feeling that everything can change on a moment's notice. So if you don't mind, I could show some of the terrain and we can take a journey there. Let me switch my camera. Let's see if this works. Oh, now you get to see my bedroom, everybody. Congratulations. That is my TV on the back wall. That's the restroom. Oh wait, that's the and that is where the goblin was screaming at the door not a fortnight of minutes ago. Yes, so this is a basic terrain that we have available. So these, of course, are the support pillars that can go underneath the boat. If you would like to have your boat up in the air, then you could put the support pillars in the existing notches that are in there. Oh, sorry, I'm like working backwards here. So it could be either free floating, and then we also wanted it to be available, like if you wanted, it could be an airship or something, and you can have it flying, and then you can have other creatures flying in the air as well. This is our current stretch goal. It is water terrain, and we're working on creating a water system where it can curve and bend and also look like rivers. Let's see. Oh, also the support pillars, obviously they double as, if you have characters who are flying all the time. Anyways, I'm going to unplug my headphones so that I can be more mobile. So here is an example of a setup where you can manipulate the field as you see fit. So if you have a secret behind a wall and your characters are there, then really you see the wall looks like it's all connected, but if you have just a 1-inch insert in the middle, then you can take that out, and then as the dungeon goes, like you can just put in little secrets that you can't really tell if you're looking at the wall. Like, it's like Wolfenstein or Doom. If you ever played those games, you're like, oh, that wall is obviously there. Nothing is behind this banner. No, so that's something there. And then, of course, we have our amazing trees. This is an example of what I was using before. I think a lot of people use that. The like 25-cent Michael's Craft Store flocked trees that are really just, it's like a wire and a piece of wood. Like, well done, well done. But it wasn't something that, like, it's not multifunctional. So we liked having a platform that we can put miniatures on, and we've actually increased the size of this base and of this base as well, so that they aren't gonna fall over as easily. And then we're making both of these trees available so that we can put the canopy on over it, and then you won't be able to see the miniatures underneath them. So if you wanted to hide your miniatures underneath the trees, then, sorry, Gimli, you're we only have the prototype for now. And then obviously our boat is amazing. It's stackable because it has the ridges on the bottom, on the sides that go and interlock into the top here. So If you want to stack a ship and make it higher, then it's going to be able to just stack on top of each other. And you can have as big of a ship, as tall as a ship, as long as a ship if you want, and you can just adjust it however you see fit. If you want a rowboat, you can just put the front and back together. And then it's magnetic too, so it's together really well, and it's not flimsy at all. And we tried to design the floor tiles so that you can kind of see where like 1-inch squares are going across there. You could definitely see it on our floor terrain, which we wanted to make double-sided so that it can double the value for any of our customers. So when they're buying our floor tiles, they're buying dungeon stone tile as well as standard tavern or wooden floors. Or if you wanted some kind of hybrid strange thing where you have the floor tiles on top of the regular boat terrain, you could, I don't know. It's multifunctional, and I think that's really the purpose that we were trying to go with here. I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera, so I hope none of you got too dizzy watching that.
Just
boom,
ever
there
so
I am.
slightly dizzy.
Ever so, yeah, I'm just so excited. So I'm like, oh, I love this terrain.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, I've looked through some of the Kickstarter stuff, but just how busy it is, I've only looked at the different tiers, and I haven't actually seen any of the stretch goals. So that water terrain actually looks pretty awesome.
Oh yeah,
and all of it's magnetic.
So the floor tiles are not magnetic. These are the only things that aren't, and that is kind of what we wanted to do. We didn't want it to be something that we would have to worry if the walls themselves were going to be confused by where they were magnetically connecting. So it's, I mean, maybe in the future we'll look into that, but we haven't had a problem with really the walls falling over because they connect together so well. And then again, yeah, so everything is magnetic. The trees are not, but they're meant to be just the top is on top and then you take it off. So it's a lot easier. So you don't have to like, hold on a moment, there's a secret underneath this. Yeah, so we wanted it to be really easy for you to, in a moment's notice, to be like, oh, there's an ogre under there. I don't know. I am all for dramatics and for just the reveal. Just that brings me so much joy.
I really got to get you into one of my games then to get that dramaticism.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Well, why don't you talk us through some of the different tiers and what you get for backing at the different price points?
Sure. Yeah. So we have, and if you look us up on Kickstarter, you'll see we started this project before. And after a few days, we realized, we need to rethink how we're delivering this. We don't want this to feel like a cash grab, because that's not what we're about. We want to get this up and running, and that's really what 100% of what we're asking for is going to go towards, is be able to help us make the it's going to help us to afford what we need, the materials that we need, and the machinery that we need in order to keep our quality really high and be able to produce a large quantity in a short amount of time, so we can fulfill orders very quickly and get everything out the door. So with that in mind, we tried to make our price points something that could be for everybody. So our Forest Pack, which is our lowest, well, okay, so if you want to pledge $1, we are still thankful for that. And as it says in our pledge things, the Fex shall forever favor you. That's from a game called Star Trail, Realms of Arcania 2. And it is my childhood. So so if you pledge $1, then we are certainly grateful for that. But if the lowest thing that will give you a reward would be $25, and that's our Forest Pack, and that includes 4 of our trees, and that's 2 of the 2 base trees that hold 2 minis there. And then that is 2 of our large base trees. And so we differentiated because this is a large base. You can put large monsters on there. You can put floor tiles on there if you wanted. If you absolutely have to play a game of Minecraft while you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you can put stone on top of the trees. And that is the lowest pack. So you get 4 trees with that. And they, like I said, we're designing them so that you can hide miniatures inside them. Obviously, you can't hide a dragon. We won't be able to accommodate that yet. But also, I think that's unreasonable. You know, maybe I'm wrong. So the so the lowest forest pack, that's 4 trees. And then if you wanted to buy your own terrain, like if you wanted to buy just the walls, like if you have great floor, if you have any of Dwarven Forge's stuff, you have spent that money. Obviously, that it's not inexpensive for a reason. It is very good quality. But if you've already spent the money on that and you don't need any more floors, but you would like maybe some more walls that could be a little bit more freestanding, we have our walls pack, and for affordability, we have offered it to people who might want it just to be unpainted. If you have that skill set and you want to paint it yourself, you want to make crazy designs, if you want to put graffiti on the walls that says Leroy Jenkins on here or something, you can certainly do that on your own, and we will be just so happy that he made a cameo inside your Dungeons & Dragons games. But so we have offered our walls and our floors unpainted and painted. So unpainted walls only are $40. Unpainted walls and floors are $69. So anybody who's pledging tomorrow, pledges for $69, will be able to get also our graveyard that we're coming out with. But also, we like to offer our painted walls as well, because I personally don't like to paint, and that's not that I can't do it. It's just that I would rather someone else did it for me. And that might be because I'm a lazy father. I have to save time, and I have 3.5 children, and they are all crazy, as you have heard. The beating of the drums in Moria. No, that was my walls. That is my door every night when I put them to bed. So we have those available, and then anything above that, obviously we offer everything unpainted or painted, and included with that is our ship. If you want a ship that is just the 3 sections of the ship, the mid, the aft, and the fore of the ship. And then you could also get it with our masts and our crow's nests to go with it. That's a little bit more expensive, but it's also...
That looks awesome.
It's awesome. And it fits miniatures inside it, and it you can, like, I mean, obviously, who here hasn't wished that they could be on some swashbuckling adventure where you're up on top of the yard of the sail, and you're swiping at tieflings who are attacking the ship, or Sagan, or whatever monster that be. And that, I mean, obviously, it's a dream of mine to be a pirate on the open seas. So I might be taking a portion of this to go fulfill that desire to become a pirate. But if I do, I mean, obviously, I will fulfill all of the orders that we need. No, I won't become a pirate. That would be irresponsible. So our boat, we offered unpainted or painted, and that is for a good reason. Obviously, no 2 boats are alike, and if you want your boat to be a shining silver, then you can do whatever you'd like. We are working, and this is just a prototype possibly for a future Kickstarter, but we're working on a way where we can adjust the front of the ship to accommodate an artwork, like if you want a mermaid on the front, or an angel, or you want a dragon. Like, those are things that we're thinking of in the future and working it with our design. So if you get the ship now, then you're going to be able to just purchase the front pieces later when we come out with them. It was our hope that we could hit enough stretch goals to be able to get that in here in our Kickstarter right now. And if we do, amazing. That's fine by us. We can certainly accommodate that. We have great ideas that we are excited for and that we want to share with everybody. So it's not any shortage of our willingness to have those ideas or to push them out to the world. But again, it's one of the biggest things that has helped us is the feedback that we've gotten from everybody. So those are our different price points. The boat, obviously unpainted. If you want just the ship, just the raw, I'm a Viking ship, I'm going to sail into the open sea, that would be $99 is our cheapest one. And then, oh wait, no, 84 is our cheapest one, and that's because it comes unpainted. Or for $15 more, you can have it pre-painted. It goes up from there. We also have bundles for anybody who wants to have a little bit of everything. We've put the price point so that it's saving a little bit of money because it's bundled together. And of those, we have the Fiend and the Celestial, obviously because you are our patron deities and we will be worshiping you. That is why we have named them as such. If you want to get a large, if you want to get 2 ships in one, we have the Dread Pirate, obviously for this bride's amazing. And then we have both unpainted and painted options for people who want to go over the top. And that is our 9 rings for mortal men and our Overhill Hill. And we've put those at a price point so that it's giving a little bit better of a discount. And that was because we were so excited that we hit 50%. We wanted to give a reward back to everybody. Here's something that you can have if you have the funds and if you are willing to support us at that level. That's we are very grateful for it. So those are our different price points that we have. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, that's as long as that's all the different tiers that you got.
It is. Until tomorrow, we will be offering a Halloween deal for everybody. Yes.
What are the add-ons that you guys have, if any? Should someone want more of the terrain or anything of that sort? What are the price points on some of the add-ons?
Absolutely. So obviously, if you pledge $25 just for the forest pack, but you want to also get a boat, or vice versa, you want the boat, but you also want trees, you just increase your pledge by the amount that is asked for another package, and we'll fulfill that for you. At a certain point, it makes more sense to do one of the pre-packaged backers that we have, either the Fiend or the Celestial, just because we're giving a little bit of a discount. And for as far as extras right now, we have our $22 add-on for the 11 support pillars that are required to hold up an entire 3-tiered ship. So the 4, the mast, and the midsection of the ship. And so if you add $22 to your pledge, then you will be eligible to get 11 different pillars there. We're going to make them a little bit fancier than this, but I mean, obviously this was a prototype. We wanted to get it up and out so that people can have an idea of what it's going to look like in the end.
Jim, any questions for him? I know this is definitely something that you've been waiting to do. So,
yeah. Since I kind of cut out there, I don't know what y'all covered. So if I ask something
just the different tiers.
Oh, okay, cool. So what's probably your favorite piece of terrain that y'all make? Do you have a favorite?
I really love the walls and the floors, and for the reasons that I had mentioned, because it's something that I can use as a dungeon master to quickly create a scene that I was not prepared for and just build the dungeon out as we're going. And I really like the versatility, obviously. There has been times when I have had players who they were just playing with the terrain and they quickly set up their own little dice box so they could roll the dice inside it. Okay. And I was like, oh, you could do everything with these. I wasn't prepared for them to just build things out of nowhere, and I like that it also, like, it's sturdy enough that you could just put it on top of things. Like if you have support pillars, if you wanted to create some crazy dungeon where there were platforms that were spaced apart, you could easily set that up with any of the things that we have. So I really like the walls and I really like the floors. And I'm very excited for everything else that we have coming out. We're making our water terrain so that when it is double-sided, because obviously you can see it is it's bumpy because it's water. It's it's not going to be flat. and we're making it so that when you flip it over, it's a flat surface. It's sturdy and it won't wobble when you put things on top of it. And then the back side is going to be either a curve or it's going to be a bank where you have the shoreline, or you have the shoreline with it going on a curve so that you can adjust where it goes. So I think that there's a lot of versatility, and I've said that word a lot because I think that's the best word to describe it.
No, I would agree.
But the utility that I have with it as a dungeon master, to me, is just huge, and it helps in a pinch when I am not prepared. And let's be honest, that happens every week.
Yeah, for sure.
So, walk me through the process that you go through, or that maybe other members of your crew go through when y'all come up with new terrain. Is it by necessity in like a home game, or do you put some kind of poll out there and be like, hey, people really want a lava tile, and then you go start and doing that? How do you create new concepts?
So up to this point, it has just been me and my brothers designing the terrain, coming up with it as needed. And that's kind of where we have seen the progression of, I came up, there was a need. I needed something that was going to be better than just a dry erase grid that I could draw out on the board. I wanted something that looked nicer, that wasn't going to require the setup time that Dwarven Forge and other products have. That, I mean, obviously you can set it up in the spot, but it takes too long for what I want to do with it. That's all. So that was where we came up with the walls and the floors. And then we started running into a more seafaring campaign, and I quickly realized there's nothing out there. There's either very, very talented people who can sculpt and build their own, and they'll even make like an instructional video on how they did it, and I'm watching it, and all I'm thinking is, this guy is super talented, and I don't feel good about myself anymore because I'm watching him and he's talking about it like it's so simple, and I can't do that. And the other options that have been out there are like the paper craft solutions or the MDF, and those, I mean, they're great. They're great value. They're great for what they work for. But we wanted something that was going to be longer lasting, that can be changed as needed. If you need a fleet and you only have a couple of parts, then if you have two boats, it becomes several different boats. And even just the midsection I used in our campaign as a barge when they are going up a river just on a single barge. I just took out the middle section and they were able to fit on it because it's 4 by 4 inches. So that's 20 by 20 feet. That's plenty of room for the party to sit on there without it having to look like a boat, because it is a barge, it wasn't a boat. And if I wanted to, I could have a barge and a boat next to each other, and it's perfectly fine. Like they still look great. So it was a necessity. But the adjustments that we're making to the trees, those have been spawned because of the interaction, the feedback that we've gotten from those who are supporting us and those who are talking about our product. They've seen that this isn't something that's out there, and that there are things that we can do that obviously we hadn't thought of. So it's really helped a lot. Like we knew that we wanted to be able to remove the top to put the pieces inside it, but we hadn't thought, okay, maybe we should make this top big enough to where we can fit the miniatures inside it already. I mean, obviously, why didn't we think of that? Because we are just plebeians, just so many plebs. I don't know.
Right on. Okay, so where do you see Tabletop Blacksmith going after the Kickstarter? Do you have any big plans for the future? Do you have anything maybe you're mulling around on and you're not quite sure yet?
Yeah, we do. So obviously we want to use this Kickstarter. We from the original Kickstarter that we had, we Our dreams, they were so big. We put a huge goal to fund, and not that we didn't think that we could hit that, only that we had not prepared enough as far as getting the word out there, as far as who we are and what we're trying to do. And when we think of the future, using this Kickstarter, it's going to allow us not only to establish a foundation, and that is the biggest thing that we want right now. We want to have a stable foundation where we can support our customers at this level and build towards the next level of terrain that we want to work on. Other companies who are in the terrain market as well, they have grown that very steady and sustainable growth. I think that it's something that's going to be good for the market. I think that companies and customers thrive in an environment where there are plenty of options to choose from at plenty of different cost levels. And I think it's important that more companies come up with their ideas for terrain, because I certainly love it. I'm a purchaser. I am a proprietor and a fan of what other people come up with as well. And it helps to inspire me to come up with things for my own campaign that might not be currently available. So what we do want to build towards would be new product, and we're thinking that the best way to do it obviously would be to launch from this foundation, fulfill all the orders that we have our website up and running, our e-commerce website, so that we can, if other people want to purchase our product, we'll be able to support that. We'll be able to get the products to them. We want to build to where we can have an international community, because right now we're only selling to the United States, and that's by design. That's not because we're rude and snobbish and we don't want other international communities to have our amazing terrain. It's not that at all. We want everyone to have it, but we know that at this point we can't support that kind of international growth. So we're trying to keep it at a smaller level so that we can build to those higher levels, and not only have everything that we currently have available, but possibly see if we can either launch through our website a new terrain packs, or possibly go to a quick Kickstarter, like smaller Kickstarters, because obviously this big one we're trying to get all the materials and machinery, but smaller Kickstarters that will help us to get add-ons to what we currently have. So if you want the front to the boat to look like a dragon or a princess or a mermaid, then we can come up with that, and then and see if people are interested in that as well. Or we can come up with different types of terrain settings. Obviously right now we're geared towards more of either a town with stone walls or a dungeon, because that's the most standard thing out there. But we can build towards anything. We want the water terrain to be something that we can really focus on, because there's not really a product out there right now that offers shorelines that look really good, or water, or anything like that. So we're trying to make it so that we have a baseline of what we currently have, and that we are the best at doing, and that we can fulfill very, very easily. So that's kind of how we would just want to build, just very sustainable, gradual growth. And if it goes crazy, we'll hire more professionals. We have no shortage of friends who are in the area, so we would love to be able to give them an opportunity to let their nerd out, just that inner nerd that just is inside all of us. Just
release the nerd.
Exactly. If we can unleash the nerd, you know how many world problems would be solved? All of them.
You know, I'll have to agree with you on that one.
I mean,
so
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what's the most challenging part about working with terrain? Is it coming up with the concepts, or is it more fleshing it out?
Oh, I wish my brother was on right now. He could tell you every problem that he has run into. So, like I had said, I am the if such a title could be granted, I'm the chief dungeon master of the company. I am the idea generator, and I just say, here, I want this to happen. Can you make this happen? And then he will come up with like 20 different prototypes, and he'll print them all out. And he'll be like, I don't know about this one. It's just like this rock is slightly off, so I'm not sure if I like the way that works or looks, or if I should just make it a little bit flatter in this area, or if I should make the grooves deeper. And so his biggest hiccup that I am noticing is the very subtle nuances that there are towards the way that we are designing our terrain. I think that's a problem that people who, for the most part, are 3D printing, I think that's something that they can run into. Fortunately, he is a professional, and I am amazed at what he comes up with. So to us, in our skill set that we have, I feel he is the artist that we have, and he is great at what he does. And it's been very eye-opening to have him on the team, because I'm obviously none of my visions of how things should work would be able to come to pass. They would never come to fruition if he did not have the wherewithal and the training and the talent, just the genuine talent to be able to come up with that and to bring it to the world. So I think that's something that, I mean, obviously other companies, they have professional sculptors. They have people who are professional artists who create things by hand and then create molds based on what they have. Unfortunately for us, that wasn't in our skill set. But what is in our skill set is creating beautiful 3D printed terrain, and being able to even like use the prototypes and the things that he has crafted and create molds out of them, so that we can more easily and more quickly mass produce them, so that they're at a level that it's still good quality, and it's still going to withstand the destructive capabilities of children, because really that's the biggest thing for us.
It's a real thing, y'all. It's a real thing.
This is real. This is us. We need to just survive our children, so that when we're older, we can say, this is why we have nice things, because our children stress test everything for us. Because all of our things that we thought that we couldn't have because they were nice are now broken. They are shattered. They are in the trash. They have gone the way of all of the children stress tested things.
All right, so we have a question from somebody watching. Jared Rogers wants to know, I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but basically wants to know if y'all offer any kind of like custom paint jobs, simple things, like instead of gray stone, something being painted as sandstone.
I will certainly bring that to the team. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do that. Especially because we're keeping our levels very sustainable and low. If we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of orders, obviously that's awesome for us. But at that level, we'll probably have to make it more of a streamlined system, unless we can get the manufacturing to perform that according to a process. And that's not something that we aren't willing to do. I'm certainly willing to make certain that we can customize your experience for you, especially because that's not that's not like saying I want every third stone to be red and I want the rest of them to be blue. that would be a little bit more time consuming. But yeah, I don't see there would be any reason why we couldn't do an order in sandstone. Like if you have a desert adventure, you are on the planet of Athos, or however it's pronounced, in Dark Sun, and you are in sandstone buildings. Well played, first of all. Dark Sun's amazing, but also, yeah, we can definitely do that. As an added bonus, if you want me to put Leroy Jenkins graffitied on the walls, I am willing to do that every now and again, because I mean,
sign me up.
You enter a cavern. There, painted on the wall in bioluminescent light, is the word Leroy Jenkins. Much to your confusion, you don't know this man. He was a demi-lich. He was a demi-lich. No, yeah. So to answer your question, thank you for that question. First of all, thank you for watching and for your time. But yes, we can. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to. As part of your order, we're going to ask people, all right, what is it that everything that you're ordering? How can we make this better for you? And then if you say, I want this to be painted in sandstone, well, sir, sandstone you will have. And I know my brother who might be watching right now is like, oh, I don't know if we could do that. You know, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to get through this. You and I, brother. We're going. I have too many brothers. There's so many of us. It's my mom really wanted a daughter.
So is it just you and your brothers working on this? Is there no did you pull in nobody from outside the family?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah, so we all have different expertise. I'm an IT professional. I have a brother who's a psychologist, so he keeps us from killing each other when we have discussions. I have a brother who he is a businessman. He runs several businesses, and even though he's a busy businessman, he still wanted to do something with his nerd brothers, and we appreciate him. But then my other brother, obviously, he's our terrain engineer. He is our amazing artiste, and other brothers as well. They're going to school, so the most that they can contribute is through helping us to get the word out there through all of the means necessary, because it's hard for one person to keep track of Reddit and Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook and everything. So we all have our different areas of expertise, and we've just been trying to reach out to anybody possible. So it's been, right now it's only me and my brothers, but I mean, we're an army of brothers, so we can definitely handle the workload.
Cool. So I'm sorry if you covered this while I was gone, while you were talking about the different tiers and stuff. Because I know we've seen the boat, we've seen some walls, we've seen some bases, we've seen a couple of different things. Do y'all make any smaller scale things such as tables, chairs, desks, things to go inside of rooms that you set up?
Okay, yes, that's an excellent question. We, at this time, have not started doing that. The only thing that we are going to have like that is our graveyard set, which is coming out tomorrow. And for anybody who's watching, or for anybody who backs us currently, you will be able to, if you have currently backed us, then you can adjust your order by any amount. You can just pledge $1 more if you want, and you will be eligible to receive that entire graveyard pack, and that's several headstones and possibly a coffin or sarcophagus. And so we don't currently have that in, I mean, and that's not to say that we won't do it in the future. It's just to say that we wanted to get our general ideas out first, because I know there are some really, really high quality, good companies out there that are very affordable, that also do terrain. I think one of them is called Dungeon Terrain. Actually, that's the one that comes off the top of my head. And they make everything. So they have tables, they've got chairs, they've got kegs of ale, they've got just everything on tap, anything you could want. Anything a dwarf would want to throw across a room, that is what they have available. And more power to them for doing that. That is amazing. And I am all for having characters use improvised weapons attacks. That's okay with me. It does less damage, but it makes me so happy when it happens. So I'm okay with that. We're interested. We can definitely do that in the future. But right now we are working on our standard foundation for everything. So once we have our dungeons built, then we can fill it with wall sconces, or we can put fountains in the dungeon, or wells that Pippin or Peregrine Took might drop a skeleton down, much to the dismay of a certain gray wizard. Sorry, I'm referencing Lord of the Rings. I can't help it. I apologize.
You're a very punny person. Um, but yeah, for those of you guys watching and those of you guys who will watch within the next couple days, what day exactly does the Kickstarter end?
Ooh, that is a good question. 16 days through November 16th, 2017, 3 a.m. That is when the Kickstarter will be over, and our Kickstarter prices will also be over. So we wanted to keep everything at a discounted rate for the Kickstarter, because once we go live, it's going to be a little bit more of maintenance mode for us, keeping everything up and running. So that is when the Kickstarter will be over, in 16 days, according to the math of Kickstarter. It's the 30th today and the 16th of November. Don't ask me how that adds up. It's science. Top men have been put in charge of figuring that out, and I'm going to trust the top men.
Oh man. I had a question, and then you said that, and then I lost my train of thought. Now, how many dungeon tiles do you get when you pledge at that like $69?
Oh,
level?
yeah. So a single pack of walls and floors is 6 4x4-inch floor tiles. So it is 6 of these, and that is 4x4 times 6. That's how many square inches of floor you get with just the floor tiles, and those are double-sided, so they work for both tavern floor and for dungeon or stone floor. It comes with, hold on, looking at my notes, 8 4-inch walls, so 2 more of these. So 8 4-inch walls, so that's, oh boy, 8 times 4, 32 inches of our 4-inch wall tiles. So these are all, obviously, these are our longest ones. It's going to be the easiest to build your dungeon out with the longer tiles, because you can do the perimeter, you could do long corridors. And then it comes with 4 2-inch walls. So our 2-inch walls, obviously, 4, 2, it's 8, 16 inches. Hold on. Yeah, 4x4. Wait, hold on. 4x2 inches. Okay, hold on. I got to do this math now. And that is 8 inches of wall. Yes, I did need to put it all out there because my mind is working so fast. I can't do math. So these, and it helps to fill in that. And I don't have all of my 1-inch tiles. I sent a bunch back to my brother so that he could work with them. So I only have 2 of the 1-inch tiles, but there are actually 6 1-inch walls that come with it. And that really helps to fill in the little crevices and allow you to do angles really well. And that is it for the terrain. And so, yeah, that's our standard. That's 1 pack of walls and floors. Obviously, if you don't get the floors, then all of those walls come with just our walls pack. If you get the walls and floors, then all of that comes with it. So as far as the boat goes, it will always come with 3 sections. It can come painted or unpainted, and it can come with masts or without masts, depending on your price range and what you would like for your campaigns. If you would like multiple boats, you can purchase multiple boats and have a fleet. You can have an armada. You can consider rebuilding all of Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness's ocean faring campaigns if you'd like. Just too many boats to fit on the screen. Just so many. That I don't recommend that. I only recommend getting what you absolutely need for your campaign, and then maybe to share with your neighbors, because obviously your neighbors are going to want a centerpiece to their dinner table. And what better to do it with than one of our amazing boats?
Yeah, that's a conversation starter.
That's what is this right here? What is this? Oh, I'm glad that you asked. You're all you're all traveling out onto the ocean. I have character sheets for all of you. Here you go. No, that's. I tried to trick my wife.
I'm so gonna do that.
I tried to trick my wife into playing Dungeons and Dragons. It backfired horribly. I should have been up from the start. She immediately knew what was going on and gave me the look just for the rest of the 2 hours that we were there. And you know, I just love her so much, so it's okay.
Man. But for those of you watching and those of you who will watch between now and November 16th at 7:53 a.m.
Very specific, yes.
You can go down into the description of this video. We have links to his Facebook page, the Kickstarter, and all of that. Obviously, you know, if you comment on the Kickstarter, they'll be more than willing to get to you and at least give you some sort of response within a timely manner, I'm sure. This has been awesome. Like, I'm probably going to go ahead and back this now because even though I can't afford it, it's freaking awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You know, but yeah, I mean, help them out, guys. They're a starting off company, and let's face it, we're all gamers at the end of the day, and we all need stuff. And you know, being a part of the gaming community, we need to all stay together.
Right.
And you know,
I completely
gotta help
agree.
a brother when we can.
Yeah, and even if you aren't in a position where you're able to back, that's perfectly fine. Just sharing it amongst all of the communities that are out there, I think, is going to be the biggest help. Because again, there's only so many of the Blade Brothers that can get out and try and reach the community. So we're trying to spread the name and trying to spread the product so that other people can have the opportunity to purchase it for themselves.
I want that on a t-shirt, though. I want the Blade Brothers on a t-shirt.
I will refuse from making the joke at my brother's expense about our Blade Brothers board shop t-shirt brand. we won't go into that very sour venture. Oh.
Yeah, I think one of your brothers is in the live chat, so you might want to refrain from that.
Oh, just the letter J. I know exactly who that is, and that is who it's referring to. So Jay, I apologize, and I love you, and yes, yeah. I mean, Blade Brothers T-shirts are coming back. I'm sure we probably have boxes of them somewhere. Josh, I mean Jay, he who shall remain anonymous among the brothers. No, yes, we have thought of that in the past. It's you know, maybe it's like the phoenix. Maybe from the ashes of failure, it will rise once again and soar to heights of success. Otherwise,
that's unknown. The spirit. That's the spirit.
Exactly. I just got a text message. I'm sure it's. Yes.
Probably like, how dare you put that on the air?
You air my dirty laundry. No. No. So thank you, Jim and Josh. Thank you so much for doing this. This is very helpful. And really, this is, I mean, it's an honor for me to be among such highly esteemed RPGers as yourselves.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure seeing you and being able to actually sit down and talk with you about this. I've been following your products, and I know Jim has too, with this Kickstarter. So, I mean, anything that we can do to help, I mean, we're gonna obviously try our best to help out as best as we can physically can.
Well, gentlemen, you have my thanks.
But until our next Spotlight Hour, we have been talking with Benj from Tabletop Blacksmith in regards to his self-standing terrain. And until next time, may you always seek enlightenment.